Okay, thank you for that really fantastic insight into what it takes to develop coach education in a sport and actually how coach education helps develop the sport itself. While Judith gets ready, I'm going to highlight two things from Sultan's presentation. One, it came across really strongly the importance of mentoring in coach education and the network they are developing all over the country and the effort they're putting into making sure that coaches are not learning in isolation. I think that's a key learning point for me from your presentation. And the other one is the idea of, and Chris mentioned it as well, thinking outside the box. It's not all about money, okay? And the way handball has gone into schools and the way they're linking in with the universities is another way to maximize their resources. So a lot of lessons in that presentation. Thank you so much. Final, are you trying to develop the next version, the Hungarian version of tiki-taka for handball? That last video was really impressive in that sense, okay? Playing handball like Barcelona, okay? Good. Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next speaker. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Judit Balogh. Judit is a member of our working group for I Coach Kids, but she's also a bit of a legend in Hungarian and European basketball, having won 2 or 3 medals at the Europeans. 3, okay. Been also a member of the All-Star team for those competitions 2 or 3 years. I know she doesn't like this, but I think I'm a basketball guy, so this is important for me. And she's now been coaching for 14 years in what can only be described as the equivalent of Atletico Bilbao in Hungarian basketball, because they are the only team in the league with no foreigners, because they have a great belief in developing the local talent. And despite not having any foreigners, 14 years in the top division, never relegated, and always finishing ahead of teams with more money and more foreigners. So great job there. I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to let you speak about Hungarian basketball and coaching children. Okay? Can you help me welcome Judith? Thank you.
Hello everybody. It's good to see so many people here and know that you are interested in coaching children. So it's very important. As a first division coach, I think that we can use players who are well trained, who stay in the system, who enjoy playing basketball, and who are not playing because they are get paid. They are playing because they enjoy playing basketball. So it's not for money. Well, I think that there are many people from outside of Hungary, so I give you a short overview of Hungarian sports system. So in Hungary, the sport is mostly competitive. So the main goal is to detect and train talents for future elite sport. So it's not sport for all, mainly. It is in clubs, in sports clubs. It's not in schools, in sports club. If a kid wants to play sport, they have to join a sport club because we have trained coaches in sports club. We are very happy now in sport because it's a strategic sector for the government. Therefore, it's state supported. We have a very strange system. We call it TAO. It's the corporate income tax opportunity, which means that these companies, instead of paying the tax to the state, they can give it to sports clubs, or of course for culture or something, but they give it to sports clubs, fortunately. So it's now in this system, the 5 most popular team sports are involved, but from January we have a 6th, which is volleyball. It started from the year of 2010, and the first TAO monies came in 2011. So now we have football, basketball, handball, ice hockey, and water polo, of course, water polo, yeah. So we have a lot of money, which is good and bad. Okay. We have with this TAO program a facility development program. We can build new gyms, new football pitches, or for ice hockey, stadiums for ice hockey, or we can renew the old ones. So this is also a good thing because in Hungary we lack of proper gyms to play indoor sports. The government had a program to make 5 times PE classes in the education, in the elementary and secondary education. So students and pupils, they have to go 5 times a week for PE class, which is very, very good, I think. The problem is that there are no gyms. I mean, if there is a gym, there is a lot of classes, and they cannot go in every day. But this is something we can use in sports clubs, because they are there, the kids are there. So we can go in, if we are lucky, because sometimes we cannot, but we are lucky. We can go in and we can pick kids, or we can promote our sport. In Hungary, coaches are trained. So it's not voluntary coaching, they are not parents, they are trained coaches. Maybe a little bit later I will explain how it works in Hungary. Yeah, it's good. So I think I don't have to introduce basketball because everybody knows basketball. Basketball is the second most popular sport in the world, but only the third in Hungary. Because handball is ahead of us, because of the results, because they had better results in the last decades, but now we are on the way, on the right way. So in 2016, the Hungarian Basketball Federation budget was 12 million euros. 12 million euros. It's a huge amount, a huge amount. We have 13 academies nationwide, but don't think about academies like in football in Belgium. These are not really boarding schools or such. Rather, in case of academies, it refers that they have high potential as in facilities or personnel or something. So. We hope that they do a good work. In basketball, no coach is allowed to work without a license. So they have to have a license. And for a license, a lot of things. Maybe later, if I have time, because Zoli took almost all my time. No problems, Otten. Okay. We are still colleagues at the university and, of course, friends. Yeah. So the Hungarian federations make a lot of effort to exploit this financial situation. A number of programs has been launched to raise the number of kids and, of course, to improve coaches' education. So we have 3 programs for under 12. The first is kind of basket pupils. We had some problem with the traduction because polenta is planned, but it doesn't mean the same. So we have this basket pupil program. Let's make hoops. And of course the under 11 and under 12 championships, which are a little bit different from other championships. So the basket pupil program started 4 years ago, and it is school-based. It's very important for us to go into the schools. Schools can join the program at any time of a year, so they don't have to start in the beginning in September. They can join later as well. This is for the kids in the first 4 classes. It means that from 6 to 11, let's say 11-year-old child can join the program. And girls and boys play together. We don't really like this as the women part, because boys are much more active in these activities, and girls just get intimidated after a while, so they stop the program. But still, for making a good number, they have to play together. The main goal is to develop basic motor skills. That's what Zoltán and Chris mentioned, that it is not about basketball at all. They use for sports, athletics, gymnastics, judo, and basketball. So they do all the four, and then they can choose if they want to go to play, I don't know, judo, or go to athletics or something. But the most important thing is make them move and, of course, develop. So the competition consists of relay races, with or without the ball. Okay, it's not a basketball program. Team sprint races and ball handling skills. So they don't play basketball. They don't shoot the ball to the basket. At the end of the season, there is a jamboree. They play during the season. They play other schools, and at the end there is a jamboree. The jamboree is very interesting because Chris mentioned yesterday that they mix the kids. So they are kids are picked from schools and they play together. So no teams, not the same teams. They mix the kids up. That's because of we don't want to make them compete for the result. That make them compete for the fun, because they enjoy it. Schools get equipment, cones and bars and balls. Kids and coaches get a jersey to compete, and the coach a shirt or something. Which is we think that this is a great recognition of the program, that it became the part of the physical education curriculum for the first 4 classes. I think it's great, because it's not only about basketball, it's other sports as well. Last year we had 11 cities joining, but this is still a new program. We expect more this year. 51 teams and approximately 1,000 kids. Our final goal of the program is to develop a bond between schools and sports clubs. So after they finish the first 4 classes, they can join a club and become, of course, a basketball player first, and then maybe handball can be chosen. So these are the activities they do. They just play, it's for fun. Run around and do funny activities. The other program is the Let's Make Hoops program, which is much more basketball-like than the previous program. It is also school-based. It started 5 years ago, so it's the older version of the pupils program. This is also school-based, and the schools guarantee that they provide the gym for 2 practices per week. It's 1 hour per practice, and at least 15 kids. So this is the school's part. The school provides a PE teacher or a basketball coach. If the PE teacher is a basketball coach, it's okay. If not, they have to hire someone. Sometimes it's from the club comes a coach. For the first 2 classes, it's relay races. Then in the previous program, they don't really play basketball. The 3rd and 4th classes is the pass-it-on play. They just passing the ball and counting how many they passed. coaches and parents are involved in this game because they can pass the ball to the coach. If they can't find another player, they can pass to the coach, and coach gives them back. And one parent from each team counts the score. So they count. Sometimes they fight a little bit. But it's good to make them involved. We find it very, very important. So there is a jamboree at the end. It's the same. Mixed teams, but they play basketball at the end. Only those schools can take part to the jamboree who has mixed team with girls and boys as well. So it's exclude some of the schools. That's a problem right now, but that's the rule. Schools get hoops and balls and equipment for playing and everything from the federation. Coaches and PE teachers who makes these two practices per week get some money from the federation. It's not a big money, don't think about millions now, but some just to make them more motivated than they are. And also the goal is to build these bonds. So this was the first jamboree 5 years ago with many, many kids. As in this picture, you see this is the pass it on game. They play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 courts on 6 courts in the same time. Yeah. We have the under 11 and under 12 championship or cup, as you wish. This differs in rules to other competitions because, as Chris mentioned before, all the kids have to play. So if you go with 12 have to play, and they play quarters, and in the first half all the children must play. Okay, first quarter 5 people with 1 substitute, and the second quarter another 5, and then it repeats in the second half. Also, they have a final jamboree. It's jamborees because 1 for the girls, 1 for the boys. But during the season, they can play together. They can have mixed teams with girls and boys, but at the end they have to choose if they play with the girls and only girls can play, or with the boys, and mixed teams have to play with the boys. So poor girls. So again, for the foreigners, how the coach training programs work in Hungary. We have 1 program, which is actually 2, under the university level. This is a so-called adult vocational training courses. You can be a sport instructor, this is the lowest level, or the sport coach. With the sport coach certificate, you can coach first division team, but you cannot be the senior national team coach. But you can do everything with that. I think it has to be changed. And these are based on the high school leaving examination. So then we have the university levels, the bachelor level, and the master's level. On bachelor level, right now, but this was the last year, I think, that we enrolled the students. You can be a physical education teacher and coach. This is in one 3 years program, or it's newly launched the coaching program in BA level. And we have the master. It's not very. We have another one which is beyond the university level. And this is the postgraduate specialization program. It's a kind of master level, we can say, but they don't have a degree. They don't get a degree at the end. So what the federation tried to do, unlike as the Handball Federation, the Hungarian Basketball Federation only have a close cooperation with the University of Sport, University of Physical Education and Sport, not yet with the other universities, because most of the students are in this institution. The special basketball curriculum has been developed together with the federations, and the syllabus as well. So the federation furnished the teachers, or we have to agree on the teachers with the federation. And the coaching program is based on age levels. So the newly launched program, which is for 3 years for bachelor level, the first year is dedicated to the under 12. So it's the 1/3 of the program. The first semester is for under 10, and the second is under 12. So we think that it is very, very important to let them know that this is different for senior basketball, because they come to study that they were a player. Some of them high level, some of them low level, but they come from competition level, and they must understand that this is not about that. For the basket pupil program, we have a special education program, which is contact hours and e-learning and such, because these are PE teachers, not coaches. So for PE teachers to know what to teach, how to teach them, what activities they need. The coach study visit projects for young coaches, this is a very, very interesting program, launched this year. It means that the federation finances for promising young coaches to go abroad to reputed European countries. They were in Madrid or Barcelona. Okay, it's now, don't talk about. And I think in Ljubljana, and they go everywhere in Europe, and they try to learn from what they do. And then they come back and they share what they saw there. They have the opportunity to interact with the coaches as well abroad. So this is a very, very good program. I think the age limit is 35 or something, so it's really for young coaches. And we have coach clinics every year, several coach clinics by age groups. So finally, the coaching license requirement for being a basketball coach in Hungary are very strict. I mentioned that no coach can work without license. Coaches need to have a coaching certificate or a PE degree at first. To enroll in any education, they need a prior player experience. So they have to come to the federation and get with the paper that they played basketball. The license is just for 1 year. You have to renew each year. For renewing, you have to collect credits every year. The Hungarian Basketball Federation was the first one to implement this credit system. So it means credits can be earned by attending coach clinic. One coach clinic is compulsory, and at that age level, then you want to work. So you cannot attend the senior coach clinic and then being under 12 coach. But there are several clinics, so not just one per year, many, many clinics. Or you can go to the accredited training camp, but it must be accredited before that by the federation. Or international competition, you can publish something which is very, very important, because we need some literature in Hungarian. We don't have any. We just started a couple of years ago, but this is very, very, we have just a few things to translate it to Hungarian or written by ourselves or our coaches. So, but the main goal is, of course, to involve children in sport or any physical activity. We don't care if it's basketball, handball, volleyball, or hiking or whatever, but let them come to play sport and keep them in sport as long as possible. I think that all the coaches have to keep in mind that. Thank you very much.